So when you see him, because he's going to be here for a little while longer, when you see him, say, "Hi, LT," and he'll know exactly who you're talking about. So Lieutenant Herrera is going to come up and speak to us. Following his talk, the administrators will present the Student of the Month Awards, and they will dismiss you. So welcome, Lieutenant Herrera.
As Mrs. Mans noted, I went to school here for 10 years, starting in preschool, graduated 2009. And Mrs. Mans, she was my teacher from 4th grade to 8th grade. She started as my science teacher. She did some geography classes, and then went on to science, or stayed my science teacher. And if you didn't know, she was the one who gave me the oath. You know, like, I state your name, Ronaldo Herrera, do you solemnly swear? Because Major Mans here, well, she used to be Major Mans. Would you like to call Mr. Major Mans? No? Okay. So, you take a lot of things for granted when you're, I sound old, I'm not really that old, I'm 23. But you take a lot of things for granted when you're this age, and my class was really rowdy. We didn't really show the proper appreciation that Mrs. Mans deserves. You know, this teacher showed us love, compassion, most of all patience with our class. So please just give a round of applause for Mrs. Mans. All right, hey, check it out, guys. So my name is Lieutenant Herrera. You can call me LT, Mr. Ray. I probably look different now. It's probably the haircut. I got a haircut last weekend. I think that's it, right? I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, so hey, this is my commissioning ceremony. That's Mrs. Mans right there. My peers in USF ROTC's class of 2017. There's my mom. You might recognize her as Miss Mildred. And my little sister in the back. Remember Beatrice Herrera? Yeah, she's my little sister. I'm really proud of that little pipsqueak. Okay. So, alright guys, so like I said, I attended Highlands for 10 years, right? Starting in Mr. Rora's draft class. I started in January, so I'm not in the yearbook. I checked the library up there. So, yeah, that's my freshman year at USF ROTC. I still look pretty young, but I think I look even younger there. I was really happy. I actually really like the field, you know, just crawling around the dirt. It's really fun, especially when it rains. Real fun. No, I'm not going to. Okay, so, hey, kindergartners, which one of you guys are doing the fire prevention sheets, fire prevention posters? You? How many of you guys did the fire prevention posters? Yeah? Those are good times, not gonna lie. That's me out in kindergarten. That looks like a really kindergartenish haircut. I think I got first place from that. Not quite sure. Okay. And hey, middle schoolers, which one of you guys procrastinated on your science boards? All of you? Yeah. Not gonna lie either, right? You know the paper that you have to do, I kind of held that off like the day before. I just asked my dad, he knows what I'm talking about. Let's see. Soccer team, you guys might recognize the guy in back, that's Mr. Brown, Mrs. Brown's husband. Okay. And hey, cross country guys, you know where this is? Where is it? Crystal Springs? Hey, isn't that track fun? Super fun track. No, it's okay. It's going to get better once you get to high school. They extend it for about a mile or a mile and a half. Okay. 8th graders, you looking forward to this 8th grade? Okay, 8th graders, looking forward to your Washington D.C. trip? Yeah. It was a blast. Not gonna lie. You guys pretty lucky you get to go to New York. New York. We didn't get to. We stayed only in D.C. and maybe Virginia as well. Okay, really artsy picture. Okay, I understand you guys aren't doing this project anymore, but Mr. Meyer's history class, it really stuck with me. Like, I really loved history, and it was further honed through Mr. Meyer's history class, and this is one of the projects we had to do. I liked the project so much that I decided to visit this Parthenon right there. I think that was like 2 years ago. I liked it so much that I visited again last summer. Okay? Okay. So that's great. Like you'll carry these passions with you throughout the rest of your adult life. Okay? The habits, the passions that you have now, they're gonna stick with you. Okay? So, a little about my decision to join the Army, right? I really liked history, right? So I admired all these great figures. All these great figures, right? I admired people like Napoleon, right? Caesar, Alexander the Great, Hannibal. These guys are my heroes. And it was in sophomore year of high school that I decided, you know what? What's in my bookshelf? It's all just history books. What do I do for fun when I'm not at school? I just read history books. I decided that I wanted to really be an Army officer. All right? Nothing to it. None of my family were Army officers. It was sort of an impulsive decision. But because I idolized these guys so much, I really wanted to follow in their footsteps. I really wanted to be a conqueror. You know, it sounded a bit bad. And it's okay, I've sort of changed from that. But I really wanted to be like these guys. You know, I wanted to have a statue built to me, put in Daly City, Ronaldo of Daly City. I'll put it next to the In-N-Out with the Krispy Kreme. Hey, quiet down. I shaved for this. Okay. So it was really me-centric. It was really me-focused, right? But life really has a way of humbling you. In this case, it was relationship failures during high school. Really beat me down. Really showed me how human I could be. You know, I'm just so desperate for reconciliation. You know, so I started ROTC. I started going to university, right? And once I was put in charge of other cadets, of other people, I started to realize that it's not about you. Leadership is it's never about you. It's about the people who you serve. Leadership is about service. Amen. Right? Where's the student council? There? Yeah, I know you guys are doing a good job. Keep it up. Just remember that. Right? Leadership is about service. And so when I went to Fort Knox, I spent a couple months at Fort Knox, and I was put in charge of training these lateral entry cadets, these first year, second year cadets. These guys, my rambunctious band of pirates. You know, they had a lot of personality, and I spent a month with these guys, and I truly came to love them. You know, to love these people that I was serving. Right? I cared about their well-being, if they were well-fed, if they were doing okay. I cared about the outsiders of a group. Like, ever feel like an outsider in a group? Like, the rest of your class is doing something else, and while you're just, you know, like, twiddling your thumb, like, oh, geez, I don't really want to go play out today. You know, you have to pay attention to those guys, because everyone matters, right? You're only as strong as your weakest link. And in the Army, it's no exception. Right. So, come my fourth year, this is when we got assessed. This is when we, as cadets, as officer cadets, this is when we were ranked. And we were ranked because getting active duty is very competitive. Active duty in which the Army is your job 24/7, 5 days a week, maybe also weekends. You probably drill on weekends too. And it was getting very competitive because the Army at the time was sizing down, right? And to make matters worse, what I really wanted was to be a tank officer. You know, I really like tanks. You know, like, you ever have something that you just love so much that you just get a tingling feeling when you think about it? Like, I cried when I saw my first tank, not gonna lie. It was a small tank. Like, does anyone have a like a burning passion for something, like something that you can't go a day without? Yeah, you, the back, with the ears. What's your name? Stand up. What's your name? Rachel? Okay, what grade are you in?
Second grade.
Second grade. Okay, Rachel from second grade. What is it that you really like that you can't go a day without thinking about?
Lots of things.
Lots of things. Okay, what's your number one?
I don't know it.
Just eeny, meeny, miny, mouse? Okay, anyone got something? What's your name? Angelica? Angelica, second grade, I'm assuming? Okay, please stand up. Okay, what's your favorite thing in the whole wide world?
My iPad.
Your iPad. Okay. Nintendo Switch. Okay. Alright, these are, oh, no. Ask me later, I'll be free. Okay? That's okay, it was my computer too. Hey! Look it up. Alright? So I guarantee you, once you get older, you'll start to, like my favorite thing was the computer. When I was that age, I really liked PC games. But I really wanted it so much that I wanted it as much as I wanted to breathe. It sounds like an exaggeration, but I didn't want to do anything else but to be in a tank, right? My fourth year, my last year of ROTC, I got some pretty bad news. Judging from my scores, my Lieutenant Colonel Williams told me, well, Cadet Herrera, well, I'm sorry, but, well, you're going to have to plan for National Guard or reserve duty. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but I wanted the Army to do my job 24/7, right? But he said that I better start planning. I had plans to be a professor of history or something. I was really planning for that. And I didn't think at all I would be an active duty officer, let alone an arm officer, which was getting more and more sparse because you don't really need tanks in the mountains of Afghanistan, right? You just imagine like a 70-ton vehicle going around these hills and these mountains. It's a lot of gas, right? But in September of last year, I was surprised to get this note from Lieutenant Colonel Williams. On the day that active duty recipients were assessed, he said, hey, come into my office, Mr. Herrera, and he gives me this card, and he says I'm on active duty. Right? Something I didn't think would happen. Better yet, a couple months later, you remember how I said that armor was going to get, it was sort of difficult to get into? Yeah. I also get this as well. You see that? You see the, yeah, that's the thing I'm wearing. This, it's my pin. See, it's a tank with sabers. You know, cavalry sabers. Right? Oh, so I end up getting it. This has been my dream. I kid you not, this has been my dream since I was in 6th grade. Right? 6th grade, you remember Miss Castillo? Yeah. Okay, like in her art class, I made a clay tank. I made a clay tank and I put like a white star in it, and I brought it to Mr. Meyer's class, and he was tripping over it. He was like, "Oh, this is such a boyish thing to do." It was really cool, but I really love tanks. So at this point, I realized that it's about something else. You know, I went to school here for 10 years. I went to school for 10 years. You know, I would sit through chapels, I would sit through services, but I don't know, it could be hard work, it could be coincidence, whatever, but it's that feeling that your Creator is working in you. You know, that He's willed these things to happen. That nothing happens by accident. Right? And I don't know what His plan is for me right now. I don't know. Maybe I could be the next Napoleon if I wanted to be. Or maybe I'll retire in 7 years and become a professor like I originally wanted to. But He willed this to happen. And thus I encourage all of you. All of you have your passions. God has instilled in us these passions, these even obsessions that we have to hone through reading God's Word and cultivating that wisdom that we gain through the Bible, right? We cultivate that. And that's how God speaks to us. That's how we assess what God wants in our lives, right? So whatever it is you're passionate about, whatever your favorite subject is, exploit that, you know? But remember, it's not about, well, it could be about you, but it's more about God, and it's more about serving other people as well. I'll get to that later. Let's hey, can someone tell me what Christ named as the greatest commandment? What's the greatest commandment? You can just shout it out. Ah, no. What is it? Is it love the Lord? Hey, middle school. What is it? Love the Lord your God. Love the Lord your God, right? And keep His commandments. Right? Okay? What's the second one? Love your neighbor as yourself. Right? No, greatest. What Christ. In the New Testament, Christ assesses. He's asked, "What's the greatest commandment?" It's to love the Lord your God and keep His commandments. Second greatest commandment. Second greatest commandment is to love your neighbor as yourself. Right? Okay? Because ultimately things don't last very long. Right? How old? Hey, quiet down. How old is this country?
241
it's
years.
not that old. It's roughly 2,500 years. 2,500 years.
41.
Quiet down. This country's only about 2,500 years old. The Roman Empire lasted for millennia and a half. But where is that now? Now they're just tourist destinations, really. What we do in this life, it's temporary. Right? But what does Ecclesiastes 9:10 say? What you put your hands to, you do with all your might. You put your all into it. Everything that's worth doing is worth giving your best shot. Right? So what you do in this life, give it your best shot. Give it your all. And most importantly, give it to your Creator. Your Creator who wills it, who made you. Do it for Christ who died for you. Alright? And do it for your neighbor who is made in your Creator's image, just as you are. Your Creator who holds this pale blue dot on his fingertip. This pale blue dot that we call home, that we call Earth. Alright? So, I'd like to close with a quote from one of my heroes. You guys know who this is?
Nothing.
Right. And this guy is Napoleon. Napoleon, first emperor of France. Hey, quiet down. First emperor of France. He ruled the French Empire for 12 years. Right? And admittedly, he probably wasn't a Christian. He had his doubts, but he did admire Christ a lot. And when he was imprisoned for trying to conquer the world, he was reflecting to a former general of him. And he was asked about Christ, what were his thoughts on Christ. And he said that Alexander, Charlemagne, and myself have all founded great empires. But what were they founded upon? They're founded upon force, upon the edge of a sword. But what did Christ found his empire on? It was just love. It was just love. And to this day, this was back in the 19th century. This is roughly 200 years ago. Yeah, it's a long time. And to this day, people, his followers are still willing to die for him. Millions are still willing to die for him. That's the greatest empire. That's the greatest collection of people that we could be a part of. You know, as much as I love this country, it's human-made. It's run by man. It's not going to last. But Christ's realm is, right? Okay, thank you for listening. I'll be working here until the end of the month, so if you have any questions, I'll make time for you. Just don't miss class or anything, all right? I'm always free. So God bless. May God be with you. May peace be with you, and may love be with you. Thank you.